Right, Britain has a new Prime Minister, and 3 days into the job, he's already dangling the one tax number every worker in the country recognises. Andy Burnham walked into Downing Street on the 20th of July, and the first thing he wouldn't rule out was lifting the tax-free personal allowance. The bit of your income the taxman can't touch. It's sat frozen at £12,570 since 2021, and he's just told the country he'll look at it at his first budget. Now here's the trap, and I want to kill it before anyone gets excited. He hasn't promised a thing, no number, no date, and within 48 hours, Bloomberg was reporting that the government isn't considering a change to the allowance at all as part of this package. So treat this as a maybe, nothing more. But you're not here for Westminster gossip. You're a UK company director or a business owner, and you're doing the only sum that matters. If this actually happens, what does it put in my pocket? And that's the honest question this video answers, because the truth isn't what the headlines are selling you. For most business owners, the answer is under £1,000 with a catch, and the real money is sitting somewhere else entirely. Stay with me and I'll show you exactly where. Subscribe if you want the wealthy's actual playbook, explained properly and honestly every week. No free money fairy tales. And the like genuinely helps this reach people before they fall for the headline. Start here, because you can't judge unfreezing it until you understand what freezing it did. Your personal allowance is the slice of income taxed at zero. £12,570. Sounds generous until you realise it hasn't moved in 5 years, and it isn't moving for another 5. That's a 10-year freeze. And a frozen allowance in a world of rising wages is a tax rise that nobody has to vote for. They call it fiscal drag. Your pay goes up with inflation, the line where tax starts stays nailed to the floor, and every year more of you gets dragged over it. It's the quietest tax rise in British history, and it's raised a fortune. Over 5 million people pulled into paying income tax who wouldn't have been. Nearly 4.8 million more dragged into the 40% band. That's the machine Burnham is now talking about switching off. And here's the number that tells you why no Chancellor wants to. £55.5 billion in 1 year alone. That isn't a rounding error the Treasury waves away. That's the reason the freeze exists, and the reason the allowance was quietly dropped from his cost of living package before he'd finished his first week. So let's be precise, because precision is the whole game here. Burnham said the frozen allowance was the thing he heard the most on the doorsteps. He said it's dragged more people in, pensioners especially. And he said, and I'm quoting the sense of it, there's no commitment to change it, but we'll look at it at the budget. No unfunded promises. That's it. Notice what's missing, a number. You'll have seen £20,000 flying around. That figure is from a public petition and a pile of commentators, not from him. Anyone telling you the new PM has pledged a £20,000 allowance is making it up. He named no figure at all. What he did do at that first press conference was decline to rule out bringing back a 50p top rate of tax to pay for it. By that afternoon, Bloomberg was reporting he won't pursue it. That's the pattern with this government so far. Floated, then walked back. But keep it in your head anyway, because any giveaway at the bottom tends to arrive with a grab at the top. And here's what he actually announced instead, which tells you where his money's really going. A temporary cut in VAT on household electricity, 5% down to zero for 6 months from October, and a £2 cap on bus fares from January. Cost of living gestures, the two of them. The allowance rise itself has been quietly parked. Now the part the headlines never tell you. Say he did it. Say the allowance jumped. Who actually wins? Here's the uncomfortable truth. About a third of adults already earn less than the allowance. They pay no income tax now, so lifting it hands them precisely nothing. The biggest cash winners are middle and upper earners who already pay tax. That's why the Institute for Fiscal Studies calls a big allowance rise badly targeted. It sounds like help for the poorest. It mostly isn't. And if you earn between 100,000 and 125,000, your allowance is already being clawed back. £1 gone for every 2 you earn. That's the 60% trap. Raising the headline allowance does nothing for you, because at your income it's already been taken away. Picture it. The taxman stands beside a little velvet rope marked 12,570. He won't move the rope. He simply runs the conveyor belt faster and ticks off each citizen as the belt carries them one by one over the line and into his booth. Same rope. 10 years. He never breaks a smile. Now the bit for you, specifically, because as a company director, your maths isn't the same as an employee's. And this is where nearly every video online gets it wrong. You already use your personal allowance to the last pound. The standard owner-manager setup is a salary set at $12,570, exactly soaking up the allowance, then the rest of your profit taken as dividends. That salary's efficient. No employee national insurance, it earns you a state pension year, and it's deductible against your corporation tax. So a higher allowance doesn't hand you a fresh tax-free wage. Your salary already fills it. What it actually does is quieter. It lets more of your dividends fall into the 0% band on top. Keep your salary at $12,570, lift the allowance to $20,000, and roughly £7,500 of dividends that used to be taxed slide into the tax-free band instead. If those dividends are in the basic rate band, that's worth just under £800 a year. Genuinely useful, and it moves entirely with your own numbers. And now the catch that the word tax-free hides. The personal allowance is an income tax line. National insurance has its own separate line, and right now they happen to sit at the same spot. If a budget lifts the allowance but leaves the national insurance threshold where it is, then income above 12.5 grand still carries national insurance even while it's income tax-free. So the honest verdict for a business owner: pro, a modest shelter on your dividends, the best part of £1,000. Con, it's not guaranteed, it may arrive with a higher top rate, and tax-free won't mean free unless national insurance moves too. That's the real ledger. Anyone selling you more than that's selling you a headline. This is exactly the kind of sum I put in the tax game plan. It's £9, and it walks you through paying yourself out of your own company the efficient way: allowance, salary, dividends, and pension, whatever Westminster does next. Link below. Here's where I want to leave you, because the whole allowance debate is a distraction from the thing that genuinely moves your money. You're waiting on a Prime Minister to maybe hand you back a bit of your own money he can't really afford to. Meanwhile, the structure of how you pay yourself, the salary and dividend split, the pension contributions straight from the company, what profit you retain versus extract is worth multiples of that, and it's sitting entirely in your hands right now. No vote required. That's the difference between watching the news and running the numbers. Your extraction structure, done properly, is a lever you pull today. It doesn't need the next budget to go your way. Quick one, and I read every reply, yes or no. Do you actually trust any government to unfreeze your allowance and then leave it alone? One word, yes or no. I've got a feeling I know which way this goes. And if you're looking at your own setup, thinking someone should run these numbers on my company properly, that's literally what we do. If you want to apply to work with us, there's a link on screen and below, and the page sends you to the right door. So the headline: New Prime Minister, big warm hint about your tax-free allowance. A 50p rate he won't rule out to pay for it, and the best part of £1,000 in it for a business owner, even if it ever lands. But the freeze is the real tax. It's booked in until 2031, and it doesn't care who's smiling on the steps of number 10. So don't wait on his permission. Your pay structure is worth multiples of that allowance, and it's sitting in your hands right now. Same rules for everyone. The wealthy just stopped waiting. If this was useful, the like and the subscribe cost you nothing, and they keep these honest ones coming. And if you want the full pay yourself properly walkthrough, the tax game plan is linked below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.